the pandemic taught me was to pray about everything, be still, because the world was still, and I listen for God's voice. I want Him to lead and guide and orchestrate my steps, and that's important. So that's critical. But after that, I would say learn your craft, perfect your craft. Study so that you know what you're doing. Go around and get. I said the other day in the interview, I've learned to become comfortable with being uncomfortable because I'm always growing, always stretching. So it's important sometimes to come out of your comfort zone. Go to open mics if you're not used to singing on stage. Like I said, my mom at an early age took me and my brother around to spaces and stages to put us in front of people so that we would grow out of that shyness, so we would be able to perform in front of people. I would say keep people around you that love you, that'll keep you grounded, that love you enough to celebrate you when you're right and tell you when you're wrong. And then lastly, I would say trust yourself but know the business. This is a very grimy business. It can be a dark space, and we're called to be lights in the darkness. So I would encourage people to learn this business so that you don't get taken advantage of.
Everybody, coming to you live today. We have some good stuff that's going to be happening here in our area, and I have a special guest of mine. We go way back many years. Actually, it was my cousin here.
Yes, sir.
His name is Rudy Currence, and so we're going to be talking about some things about him, but more importantly, we got some things that's going to be coming up in our area real soon, so we want to make sure we keep you posted. So Rudy, give a quick introduction of who you are.
Oh man, well first of all, big shout out to my big cousin, man, Steven. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast, man, just on the show. Been looking up to this guy my whole life. So man, I'm born and raised Rock Hill, South Carolina. My dad is a pastor, and studied music in college. Recording artist. Have had the opportunity to work with some pretty legendary names like Quincy Jones and the Clark sisters, Karen Clark Sheard, Lecrae, David Banner, a few others. Two-time #1 Billboard recording artist, Grammy and Dove Award winning singer, songwriter, producer. And man, just a testament, man, of how faithful God is. So glad to be here.
Well, I tell you, man, it's such a pleasure to see you doing what you do, man.
Thank you, man.
I know you all your life, and man, you always have stayed true to this lane. And so I just want to kind of touch a little bit about what led you. I know you've been doing it very young, but what led you into the space of singing?
Oh man, well, I sang my first solo when I was 3 years old. I sang Deck the Halls at preschool, and my parents, my mom, dad saw me sing. But mom is really the one that really kind of like took me and my younger brother. We call him Patrick, but his industry name is Michael Starr. Big shouts. He produced my record Testimony. But she would take us around to local events. And she really, both parents really nurtured the gifts. My dad would take us to piano lessons. And of course, my dad plays and sings too. So a lot of the musical ability come from our side of the family, my dad's side. But my mom, I think she really focused in because she's very structured and, she's a computer programmer by trade. So I think she saw something and she just nurtured that gift. And that eventually led to church events. And by 12, I was a junior minister of music at our church. Then me and Patrick, by middle school, I was going to Charlotte Hornets games, singing the national anthem. So it's just like a progression. So I encourage parents out there, if you see, gift, and not just your children, but young people, make sure you nurture that talent because there's so many gifted kids and they just need mentorship.
Awesome, man. And like I said, your parents always been right there beside you, man.
Yes, sir.
Actually, you have your own label too, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you still work with you and your moms. I know y'all do a lot of great things. So I know a lot of individuals who are interested in even venturing into this space. Mm-hmm. Kind of share a little bit about your journey and what you have learned on it. If someone was interested in starting, how could they either start, whether how that look?
Wow. I'll say, first of all, keep God first, man. One thing the pandemic taught me was to pray about everything, be still, because the world was still, and I listen for God's voice. I want Him to lead and guide and orchestrate my steps, and that's important, so that's critical. But after that, I would say learn your craft, perfect your craft, study so that you know what you're doing. Go around and get... I said the other day in the interview, I've learned to become comfortable with being uncomfortable because I'm always growing, always stretching. So it's important sometimes to come out of your comfort zone, go to open mics. If you're not used to singing on stage, like I said, my mom at an early age took me and my brother around to spaces and stages to put us in front of people so that we would grow out of that shyness, so we would be able to perform in front of people. I would say keep people around you that love you, that'll keep you grounded, that love you enough to celebrate you when you're right and, tell you when you're wrong. And then lastly, I would say, trust yourself, but know the business. This is a very grimy business. It can be a dark space, and we're called to be lights in the darkness. So I would encourage people to learn this business so that you don't get taken advantage of.
You said something that was so key, knowing who you are. And how did you develop and even decide to stay true to your roots and the lane you're in? So first of all, how would you identify the style of music you sing? How would you identify yourself in music?
Oh man, well, I like to do a lot of stuff. When I was at Furman, majoring in school, in music in college, I ended up studying classical voice and piano, so I got an appreciation for all kinds of art forms. I probably would classify myself as a singer-songwriter because I write, produce, and so that can vary between genres, but it's always going to be soulful because this area just got a soulful sound, in the Carolinas, and it's going to have that church sound in it too, of course. But man, I just like to make good music. My ultimate goal beyond the genre of music is to just make music that heals and encourages people and inspires people.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. And so I know a lot of times you can't please everybody, but you have to be true to self.
Yes, sir.
And so when someone comes out to see buy a project from you, what is always your intent that you want to make sure that's left to people?
Oh man, well of course I want music can be healing. It's been healing for me. I think one of the reasons I've been drawn to music and I do it all the time is because it's therapy. Even like in a church setting, praise and worship, music is so powerful to this in the service. It prepares people's hearts for the word. And so I think even with my music, whether I'm singing secular or sacred music, I want to have some type of message, something, a takeaway people can take away and feel better than when they came. And also just, God is the ultimate creator. And so even when I'm making faith-based music, my new album, Stained Glass Windows, I wanted to make great art, because I feel like sometimes we sell God short when we say, oh, I'm singing gospel music, so we don't put no effort in the presentation. We don't put no effort into the packaging. I want my photo shoots, my videos to be top-notch because I'm representing the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. So
man, that is big. And you said something that was so good, man, because a lot of times, especially when I started listening to gospel rap,
yeah,
I was like, that's watered down. They threw Jesus in there.
You're right.
But when someone really takes the effort, like Lecrae, and I had a guy who used to do a lot of stuff with me, Omega Sparks. I don't know if you ever heard that name, but that boy was bad. Bad. So, like I say, those individuals who take the extra mile to show excellence in all of the areas.
Right.
And so that's big, man. But I want to just ask you, because I want to be respectful of your time. I know you got a lot of great things coming up, always traveling on the road. So how does that look for you? How did that look? I know you're on the move all the time.
I'm excited. Well, the first thing coming up, we got some Valentine's shows going to be in the area. So if you're in the Charlotte area, surrounding areas, even Columbia, South Carolina, I'll be doing a 4-city D-Day tour. We start in Columbia on February the 4th. Then we hit Charlotte, North Carolina on February the 9th. That's a Friday night. Then Saturday we'll be in Atlanta. And then the 16th we close out in Chicago. So I'm definitely planning on touring more. Stained Glass Windows. I feel the most like myself as an artist when I get to be on stage singing to people, singing to the hearts of people, and singing to their needs. So
yeah, man. I can tell you, if you have not come to one of Rudy Currence's concerts, you are doing yourself a disservice because you're in for a treat from the beginning to the end. He really has a stage presence that brings everybody inclusive.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm always like going to the first time, man. I mean, it's always great to see you, and he's a fish in water when he's there, man. So I wanted to also, for those who may not know you, and for those who do, they always want to hear you still love something. So if you can bless the people, whatever on your heart, man. I definitely want to give them a snippet to know who Rudy Currence is as an artist.
Yeah. Let's see. There is a place for me. There is a place for me. There is a place for me in the body of Christ. There is a place for me. There is a place for me. Said there is a place for me in the body of Christ, and I belong here. I belong here. Said amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. And I stopped by to talk to my big cousin to let somebody out there know that now I see, and I belong here. And you belong here. Yeah. We made it through a pandemic, y'all, and I belong here. Yeah. And it's no goodness on my own. I'll tell everybody about the goodness of God, 'cause you belong here. You belong here.
That's my guy, man. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
It's always a blessing, man. It's so good to know that God gave you this gift, and you feel freely to give it to others.
Absolutely.
And so, man, I remember one of the first times I heard you sing, man. We was at grandparents' appreciation dinner we had over here at North. What was that? North. At the recreation.
Yeah.
And I think you may have been like in your early teens.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was telling me Rudy could sing. Yeah. You can do it. I do a little something myself. Man. You was on the keys and I think you sung Silver and Gold, man.
Wow.
Man. My sister, Nikki done went wild in there. She kicked off her shoes and everything, and the girl I was with, she in tears. I'm trying not to cry. You like, man, he ain't gonna get me like that. But man, that's awesome, man, knowing that God has blessed you with something that impacts lives of others and encourages, inspires others to really know that they can have a chance to win also. And so, man, I just want to ask you this, man. What keeps you going? Even though I said, you've been in it for so long.
Yeah.
What keeps you going? Because I know sometimes you have some dark moments. So I want to bless somebody up who may be trying in this space, but maybe whatever else lane they're in.
Right.
What keeps you going that can inspire them as well?
Man, well, I give credit and honor to my dad and my parents, just the upbringing. They really instill a lot of core values and beliefs in God, and I think one of the main things that keeps me going is just remembering the call on my life. And if somebody's waiting, God's waiting on your yes, and your yes is going to bless so many others out there. So that's something that's really become important to me. One of my favorite scriptures is, if you be faithful over a few things, God said, I'll make you ruler over many things. And we live in a microwavable society where everybody wants something quick. This journey has cost me. The anointing cost something. And so if you want God to use you, you have to be prepared to go through some things. The Bible also says you learn from the things you suffer. And so I've experienced some hurts and some disappointments in this industry, but my faith in God and my faith in what He called me to, and knowing this is my purpose in life, that's what keeps me going every day.
Man, that's awesome, man. Yes, I can tell you, for your big cuz, man, it always enlightens me and encourages me to stay in the fight.
Yes, sir.
Just like saying you just win and continue to stand in spite of what life may come at you with.
Thank you, man. I'm honored, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man. I mean, for how you bless the family. Anytime you sung here at this church right here, that my mother's going home,
yes,
and this always show up when the family needs you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's what we're supposed to do, man. We're supposed to show up for one another. So thank you for offering your platform, letting me share what I got going on, man. I'm trying to be great like this guy when I grew up, man. This is my big cousin, so big shouts to him. Yeah, man. And Nikki, man. The whole family, man. I love y'all. Thank you so much.
No doubt, man. Well, we want to thank everybody for taking a moment to come to check us out, man. Celebrate with my cousin as he's going to be coming back here to Charlotte. I know a lot of people been waiting and saying, Rudy, when you coming back this way? Yes, now is the time. Don't hesitate. Make sure you're in the building. Tell them again where that date and where they can come to.
Yes, sir.
And check you out.
Y'all can check me out. Make sure you get tickets. It's going to be Friday, February the 9th in Charlotte at Society 229. And you can get tickets on my website. That's www.rudycurrence.com, www.rudycurrence.com. And of course, follow me on social media at Rudy Currence. And also get my new album, Stained Glass Windows. I promise you it's going to bless you.
Great project, man. Well, I appreciate you again for stopping in.
Yes,
y'all do like, do share, and make sure you're in the building on February 9th. We'll check you later. Be great.